You're listening to the Low Blow MMA Boxing Podcast.
Thank you, Richard. Really not much for me to say other than I'll be happy to introduce my fighter, WBA Junior Middleweight Champion, Austin No Doubt Trout.
Good evening. I just want to thank you guys for attending. I just got to thank God for the opportunity and just for the victory. You know, Delvin was no easy fight, as you guys can see. You know, he had me thinking a lot. And, you know, I'm just happy that I came out with the win, you know, regardless how it looked and how you guys might feel about it. But, you know, victory is a victory. And then, you know, Delvin, I didn't feel like I was at my best, but not because of my preparation or because of anything like that. Delvin's a good fighter. And you know, he had me thinking a lot, and I had to adjust and make the adjustments. I ain't make them quick enough. So, you know, I think that was all on, you know, credit to Delvin. And, you know, I thank him for taking this opportunity and taking the fight. You know, I don't really have much to say. You know, we're going to go back to the lab, and we're just going to work on getting better. So hopefully I can show you guys the best of Austin Trout. Yes, Steve.
Austin, there was a lot of talk that maybe you might fill in for a big fight in September with Canelo Alvarez. Number one, did any of that external pressure, did it affect you in the fight? And number two, did it frustrate you that the styles with Delvin didn't mesh for a more exciting performance despite the victory?
Well, I don't feel like I was thinking about anything else but Delvin. You know, I know that they was talking about me and Kirkland, and before they even started mentioning my name with Canelo, I wanted to make a statement. And, you know, our styles didn't match up, you know, as far as my style and his style. He did have me think a lot. You know, he boxed more than I thought. I thought he was going to be coming forward. But then he did come forward. You know, he changed it up a bit. You know, he was like a chameleon in there. He changed it up at will. So it's fine if you know, if it didn't look great, I got the win. Because, you know, I do what I have to do to win. And that's going to be in every fight. Whether it's bad or good, I'm going to do what I have to do to win.
What made Delvin so difficult?
Well, you know, like we prepared for Delvin that's going to throw a lot of combinations, and he ended up throwing as much as I thought he was going to. You know, he tacked the body good. I couldn't really even tell you. That's why I wasn't able to figure it out. You know, it took me a while to figure him out. You know, I'm usually good at adapting quickly, but, you know, it took me half a round, and even rounds that I had a good chance or had a good round on, the next round he did something different. You know, I had to go back to jabbing a million times to figure something to let my hands go. You know, I felt like one of those sports cars that has those little, you know, prohibitors in them where you can't go as fast as you want to. You know, just couldn't let go of the gun, you know. But it's all good. We're just going to work on getting better. We're going to look at the tape. You know, I haven't seen, you know, any footage yet, so we're going to look at the tape and just make sure that it's better next time. Because, you know, an A-game Austin Trout will beat anybody in this weight class.
Yeah, Austin, you talked about, you've been calling out Canelo Alvarez, who's probably perceived as a better fighter than Rodriguez, but yet you're saying that you had trouble figuring him out. How do you think you'd fare against Alvarez? I know you've been probably checking him out for quite some time.
Well, Alvarez doesn't have as many styles as Delvin has, and so he'd be probably a lot easier to figure out than Delvin. Not saying that, you know, Delvin's any less than Canelo or Canelo's less than him, but they're just two different styles, and you know, styles make fights.
Richard, on behalf of Saul Alvarez, is Austin in the mix? Has he been in the discussions for September 15th based on what's happened the last day or two?
Absolutely, yes. I mean, Canelo is one thing which he's thinking about. He was sitting ringside tonight, and we had a discussion with him. He was checking out his fight, of course, and we were discussing potentially going the route with Canelo that he wants to become the undisputed junior middleweight champion. And that obviously would lead through Austin Trout, and it would lead through a K9 Bondridge and the WBO champion from Russia. So we might go and unify all titles, and that's something which Canelo is very excited about.
Me too.
We will be discussing in the next day or two among ourselves, and then have conversations with Austin's team to see if that fight can be made. One thing which is for sure that Canelo will be fighting September 15th from the MGM Grand in Las Vegas on pay-per-view. And Austin Trout is certainly one of the top 2 or 3 candidates to get that fight.
All right.
There you go.
There you go. Yes, sir.
Throughout the bout,
I can't say that. I never. He's strong, but I never felt hurt or rocked anything like that. I knew he had some power, some pop, and I was aware of it. But to say that I actually felt it, he caught me with a couple shots, but nothing on the button. So I couldn't say. Yes, sir.
First out of the fight, you could tell that is, you had the rounds, so did Delvin. But at ringside, it looked like, the second half of the fight, you began to take control. What was it that allowed you to take control of the fight at that point?
My coach, he lights a fire in my ass, and then, he tells me go forward. Even when I felt uncomfortable coming forward, because, he would come forward and he would come back and he would move a bit. I feel like if I push a little bit more, and now, looking hindsight, I feel like if I pushed a little bit more, put a little bit more leather on him, I could have had him out. But, when you're uncomfortable, you're not feeling good, feeling in a rhythm, it's hard to let them hands go. So, I just started, even in my uncomfortable state, I just started letting my hands go a little bit more and going forward.
And you are a rhythm fighter.
Yeah, exactly. But, like I said, we're going to go back to the lab, we're going to go back to the gym and, work on fighting out of rhythm, just so, to make sure that we get those W's and start winning in some decisive manners, because, boxing has the most critics in any sport. And, I know they might write me off as, well, he's good, but he's not impressive. I just use that as motivation. I don't really sit there and pay attention to exactly what they say because, one, they probably never been in this ring before, and two, I've been dedicating my whole life to this game. And I know I can do better, and I know I can get better, and I'm not done getting better.
Austin, I remember when I first met you, you were sparring with Antonio Margarito, a guy that always came for. Are you better with guys that are going to bring the fight towards you?
Well, I'm from New Mexico, so you deal with a lot of Mexicans and Mexican-style fighters. So I've been fighting that style my whole life. And, I'm not saying I have a problem with boxers because I'm smart, too. I can figure it out. But that is my cup of tea. If you're going to come forward, you're going to get ate up all night. So, like I said, again, we're going to work on all that. We're going to work on anybody who wants to box, if they want to bang, we're going to have a formula to everything. Any other questions?
Of all the world champions that are weight classes that, American fight fans actually follow, you've probably been one of the most under-the-radar champions there was, fighting in Mexico and such. Do you think this performance did anything to change that, and was that on your mind at all going into the fight?
I don't know. I know that they got to see me, so that's just better for my business. A lot of times they just hear about me. Now they got to see me, and, they can make their mind up for themselves. I think this performance probably landed me a fight with Canelo, so that's always good for me.
There's obviously some additional fire there. You all know how Austin Trout won the World Championship by beating Canelo's brother, Roberto Alvarez. So there is a little revenge factor going to be in play as well.
That's right. It's motivation for somebody, right? Yes, sir.
So when you walked in, you looked over to your left and you saw the Zia symbol, the New Mexico flag there. How did it feel to have that support from not just the family?
Most people probably don't even know that the Zia symbol was New Mexico's flag. So, I knew, and it helped me. I take motivation from everything. So it was good to see the flag and seeing that New Mexico was in the building. And yes, New Mexico is part of USA. I'm getting tired of people saying, well, you speak such good English. Like, yeah, I'm American. But yeah, trying to put my city and my state on the map, rest in peace, Johnny Tapia. He represented my state very well. And, I'm just trying to carry on that torch that he did. Yes, sir. My prayers has been with him and his family. It's just, I wouldn't want to just say a sad story, but yeah, it is a shame to hear about, somebody with such talent, such opportunity, and it's being taken away from him. So, my prayers is always out. I pray almost daily for Paul Williams, for Johnny's family, and just for anybody that's going through any type of tragedy like that, because I don't know how I would act. And, just thank God that he's got a good spirit. I hear he's making jokes about being a stand-up comedian, which just shows that God sent him the spirit of comfort. So, God bless him. Any other questions? Well, I thank you guys for having us. I thank you guys for having us. And, like I said, the best of Austin Trout is yet to come. And, Not saying that Delvin wasn't a great fighter. He's a good fighter, and he brought, my mind out. But, to bring my physical stuff out, I'm looking for that Spartan death. You know what I mean? So thank you guys. Have a good one.